Welcome to Yogaroo Online. So this is Move and Restore class number 2. What we're going to do in this practice today is we're going to work on our leg strength. And why we're going to do that is, everything we do on our mat is about our life off our mat. So by building strength and stability in our legs, and particularly kind of having a look at keeping the integrity of the knee joint, the integrity of the ankle joint, and building the supported muscles around them, we build mobility and strength and confidence in our stride off our mat, and just a more reactive body when the legs are feeling strong and they can deal with little bits of micro movements and just building a whole body kind of experience of the world around us through the legs. So what I'd suggest today for your practice is that you kind of you loosen your attachment, let's just say, to perfection in your poses, or what the exact alignment of your poses are, and really focus all your attention onto your legs in particular. And I'll continue to remind you the ability to really tap into the strength of your legs the more you press your feet into the ground. And when I talk about pressing the feet into the ground, you're talking about the big toe mound, the little toe mound, and the center at the back of the heel. So it is kind of a triangular shape, even though kind of some teachers talk about 4 points. And you're pressing into those points in particular because we do want those arches to rise. We've got arches in our feet, and then we want the muscles to kind of wrap around the legs through those lifted arches. So there's a buoyancy there too, and there's a difference between sinking into the ground and kind of grounding and lifting into the ground. And we'll play around a little bit with that as we move through our practice. So as usual, I always like to, we will get up to standing because we're talking about the legs, but let's start on all fours just to get a little bit of movement into our ankle joints. So we're going to do a slightly different cat-cow. I think we've done this one before, which was when we were talking about the core, but today it's about the front of the feet there. So we're just going to be pointing and flexing the feet through our cat-cows. So starting in just a neutral position, tuck the toes under for our inhale now, remembering to keep the chest open, even though we're focusing on the lower body, have a little bit of awareness what's going on above for our cat-cows anyway. And then on our inhale, press the hips back towards your heels and feel that lovely stretch on the soles of your feet there. Toes tucking under. On your exhale, you're going to untuck your toes, come up onto the fronts of your feet, lift your spine up towards the ceiling. So there are 2 movements for our cat and our cow. And definitely, yes, you will feel the core activity as you move through the second part there, but it's about just the kind of fronts of the feet and the backs of the feet. We'll do a couple of rounds with them. So tucking the toes under. As we inhale, we press our hips back towards our feet. Open the chest and feel that lovely stretch, the soles of the feet there, the toes tucked under. And then exhaling, untuck the toes, lift the knees up just an inch or 2, feel your shoulder blades spread, the spine curling down, gaze in between your hands and your lifted knees. We'll do one more round of that. Tuck the toes under. To inhale, press the hips back towards the back of the heels there. Press into the hands, fingertips spread, collarbones nice and wide. Exhale, untuck the toes. Coming up onto the tops of the feet there, lift the knees, let the shoulder blades spread, let the spine curl here, and then coming back down. Step your right leg forward. Make sure that it is keeping in line with its hip, so it hasn't come towards the center and it hasn't come too wide. What we're going to look at now, so coming up into a low lunge there, what we're going to look at now is to build a little bit of a blueprint for how the knee and the ankle move together. So take your hands either side of your knee here now and inhale up tall, and exhale, just bend that front knee any amount. You don't really have to be coming down too far. We're only warming up. So I just want you to get this movement of tracking the knee with the ankle there. And notice yourself, do you have patterns where it feels like the knee wants to cave in or the knee wants to come out? And that just depends whether you have tightness on the outer hips or tightness on the inner groin, or you might find that it's coming down very smoothly towards the center. So just moving with your breath, inhaling to come up, exhaling to bend the knee and come forward, pressing into the foot now to control the movement. So think of the more you press into the foot, it's kind of like activating the muscles on your legs as your brakes so that you don't completely collapse down towards the ground. Do one more then now, inhaling to come up, hands either side of the knee there, and exhale really slowly, feeling the movement in the joints there, and even have a look down at your ankle to make sure that you can see that the knee is in the same plane as the ankle there. And then inhale to come up. Let's just swap legs now. So bring the right leg back, left leg forward, coming up to low lunge. Hands either side of the knees there now. Try and stay up tall through the spine. It depends how long your upper thigh is there. Inhale here, and then exhale. Slowly let that knee come forward, just checking to see how it feels for you. Is it dropping to the inside? Is it trying to drop out to the outside, or is it coming straight down center? So press into the balls of your feet to activate those muscles. So if you find that it's dropping in for you, press more actively into that little toe mound, and the opposite the other way. If you find it's dropping out for you, press more actively into the big toe mound. Doing one or two more rounds of them in your own time with your own breath, inhaling to come up and lengthening through the spine, and exhaling really slowly coming down, building that blueprint in the joints there. Okay, let's put the hands either side of the front foot, come up onto the ball of the back foot, and just step the right leg forward, folding down. Inhale to reach the arms up high, and then exhale, hands down the center in prayer position. So let's just come up to the top of your mat, feet hip distance apart, hands just down by the sides, slight external rotation in those arms there. Let's find a nice Tadasana. So your Tadasana can be as strong as you want it to be. And today, because we're working with the legs, it's going to be a really strong Tadasana. So press into those 3 points of your feet. And with that pressing, feel the energy and the strength coming up your legs. And kind of like, you know, it naturally, the more you press into your feet, it kind of spirals up your legs. It dissipates around the hips, and then we need to actively re-engage into the core there. So think of it as pressing into your feet, and then as it moves up your legs, maybe you need to reactivate the muscles. So we draw our navel in towards our spine. This keeps this whole area nice and open, or nice and contained, let's just say. And then the shoulders are kind of lifted up, down and back, and softness in the arms. So the strength is through the core and the legs here. The energy kind of comes up through the tip of the crown, and the arms are gentle and they're open here. Now start to make circles on your feet, so as small as you want. So just pressing into the outer right side of the foot, the back of the right foot, back of the left foot, outer left side of the left foot, front of the left foot, front of the right foot. Do one more circle. Outer edge of the right foot, back of the right foot, back of the left foot, side of the left foot, front of the left foot. And with that, I hope you noticed kind of the more you pressed into that foot. So even just press from side to side, press into your right foot, feel the right leg firing. See the way the left leg is softening. Press into the left leg, feel the left leg firing, feel the right leg softening. Okay, so we're going to just take some lifts up through the soles of the heels of the feet there as we inhale. So inhale, lift the arms up high, just lifting the heels up. So really grounding into the balls of the feet. And then exhale gently, hands down the midline in prayer position. So wobbles, don't forget, there's no such thing as imperfection. It's just wobbles and your body working out all those muscles, like lightning, trying to work out how to keep you in balance. So wobbles are completely part of this practice, particularly today. Inhale, reach the arms up high, press into the balls of the feet. Notice how the balls of the feet are pressing from one to the other side rapidly, trying to work out what you're doing. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position again. Okay, one more time. See how high you can come up this time. Doesn't matter if you fold back down onto your feet. So inhale, reach the arms up high, lift those heels up, and exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, so coming into chair pose now. I'll do it this way. So hands in prayer position, nice openness through the chest, but again, it's about the legs today. So we're just going to let those hips drop down as far as is comfortable for you. Pour all your weight into your left foot, really pressing into your left foot now, and just lift your right heel up. So really powering up that left leg, concentrating all the strength into your left leg. Hug that left leg in towards the midline now. Make sure it doesn't drift out to the side now. Hip bones in line with shoulders there. And then let's press the right foot down. Press, 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 and lift the left heel off the ground. Just the heel. You can stay up on the balls of the feet. Keep those hips level. Make sure that that right hip doesn't drift off to the side now. Stacked, nicely stacked. Press strongly into that right foot now. See, can you find a bit of press into the center of the back of the heel? All the way it wants to come into the balls of the feet. Press into the center of the back of the heel. Press, press, press. And then bring that left heel down. Inhale to come up. We're going to do some toe taps now. So just keeping your hands either in prayer position, or if you find it helps your balance, bring your hands onto your hips there now. We're going to, let's see, I'll demo it from the side and then I'll come to the front. Inhale, lift the right leg up, just lifting it up as far as is comfortable for you. Foot flexed or pointed, whatever suits. And then exhale, bend that left knee deeply here and tap that right foot behind you. So that's your exhale. Inhale to come up, lengthen that left leg now. Exhale, bend that left leg, bring that right leg back, tap the ground. Inhale to lift. And then exhale to tap. Now let's try and do one of them to the count of 6 on our exhale. So inhale to lift. Lengthen that left leg, straight left leg, bent right leg. We're going to exhale to the count of 6. So see, can you hold it until we reach 6 when we touch the ground? So for inhale, exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tap. Let's do another one of them. Inhale to lift. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale to lift, and then exhale, just bringing that right leg back down again. So just really feeling for the communication between those joints, particularly the knee and the ankle, and the muscles that we're using to bring those joints together. Let's do our left leg now. So bending up the left leg, pointing or flexing the foot. Inhaling here and exhaling for 6. Oh no, we'll do our taps first. So exhale to tap. Inhale to lift and exhale to tap. See, I'll show you from the side. I am bending that right leg. Inhale to lift and then exhale to tap. Even looking down, if it doesn't affect your balance, to make sure that that right knee is really staying in line with that right ankle. And slowing it down if you find that there's a particular point. So keep moving with your breath, inhaling to lift, exhaling to drop. If there's a particular point where it starts to wobble or it starts to try and move to the inside or the outside, and really engage the muscles to support there. Okay, one more time. Inhale to lift and then exhale to tap. We'll do our rounds of exhaling for 6. Inhale to lift here and exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tap. Inhale to lift. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale to lift and exhale. Bring that leg down. Okay, let's do one more little round where we're in our Tadasana pose to see, do you notice any difference in those legs now? Definitely a bit of heat building up, I can feel in my legs. Can you feel a better foundation, a better connection to your sticky mat there? Can you really feel almost these little suction pads along the soles of your feet there that really are gripping you to the ground? Okay, we'll start with our flow now. So our flows are starting from a standing position, and we're going to incorporate some of those warm-up movements that we did, and then we're going to continue to flow. We're going to lift our left leg first so that our right leg is at the top of the mat for our flow. So inhale, lift the arms up high, lift the heels there, remembering this one that we did. And then exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Press the palms together. That will help you to focus and stay centered. Bring the heels back down again. Coming into chair pose. Inhale to lift the right heel off the ground. The left foot stays down. And exhale to place that right foot down. Inhale to lift the left heel off the ground. And exhale to bring the left heel back down again. Inhale, hands to hips maybe for this one. Inhale, reach that left leg up. And then exhale, you can stick with that tapping one, or we're going to add a layer on, which is optional. So you can either stick with the one where we did at the warm up, where we tap the ground, or if you want to just challenge your balance a little bit more, we lift the left leg up and then we reach it out behind us. So coming into Dagasana, so it's kind of like a warrior 3. And then we inhale, lift it up, and then exhale, reach it behind. And then inhale, lifting. So remembering, you can just stick with the one where you tap to the ground if that's just a little bit too much for your balance today. And remembering the control of the balance. So you don't want to be kind of flopping too much all over the place. You need to feel that there is control in the balance there. So if you find you've chosen this one and it's just really momentum that just happens to keep you up, then that's possibly not the one for you today. You really need to feel a containment or control within the movement. Okay, and then on your next exhale, as you reach that leg back, we're going to end up in arrowhead. Arms reaching back, so high lunge with the arms reaching back. This is your exhale. Inhale, lift the arms up high, straighten that front leg there. And then exhale, reach the arms back again. So this is like we're just in a standing version of what one of our first warm-ups was, where we were tracking the knee with our ankle there. So really press into that front foot. So let's stay in our arrowhead here for a few breaths until you really find that connection. So it's like you can kind of feel that the warmth and the power of that bottom of the leg, as you press the heel in particular into the ground, communicating with the power of that right hip there as well as it hugs in towards the midline. And then inhale to straighten that leg, reach the arms up high. Exhale, reach the arms back. We'll do one more round of them. Inhale, reaching, press into the foot. Take it nice and slowly here. And exhale, slowly reach the arms back. Inhale to reach one more time. Exhale, plant that left foot down and come into your warrior 2. Again, we're not too concerned about where the feet are here. We're just coming into a flow. And then we're going to inhale to lift the arms up, straighten that front leg again. Have a consideration of where those hips are. So they want to be kind of front hip down, left hip back. See, can you, in this position, have those hips nice and straight? This will give a little bit of stretch to that inner groin there. So in arms right, reaching, and then exhale. Keep those hips in that position. And that's where the legs, muscles are kind of going to find their balance if those hips are level. Inhale to reach. And exhale, bending that front knee. So I can just see there from my camera, my front knee is overshooting the ankle. Make sure that it's not for you. Inhale to reach. And exhaling to bend. Let's stay in our warrior now for a few moments, just really feeling the strength in our legs here. So press strongly into that back foot now to feel the back of that left leg there firing up, and press strongly into the front foot to feel this whole front leg here firing up. Make sure that you press into the ball of the little toe mound and the big toe mound equally here to make sure that the knee is in line with the ankle there. Okay, we're going to come into a version where we flow into Trikonasana here. So you might want to step that left foot in a little bit if you prefer a narrower Trikonasana. We're just going to bring the back of the palm onto the inside of the knee there. If you're inclined to extend that knee, have a little bend, a micro bend in the knee here as we flow. Okay, starting in our slightly narrower warrior. So don't be tempted to go too far into your warrior. Inhale here or exhale here. And then inhale. Straighten that front leg, bring the right arm down. Exhale into a short warrior. Inhale into our Trikonasana. Exhale into your warrior. Inhale into your Trikonasana. Let's stay in our Trikonasana for a few breaths here. Press strongly into that back foot now. If you want, you can reach that left arm up and overhead. which will help to kind of lengthen the muscles as they engage on the back leg there. Press into that heel of that front foot there. Really feel the power in that front foot. Draw the navel in towards your spine here. Lift the pelvic floor. So just remembering that there is other parts of the body that need to be considered, even though we're focusing on the legs. And then inhale to come back up again. Circle the hands either side of the front foot. Actually, let's just take it from a standing again. We won't come down to the ground. So inhale, reach the arms up high again. Exhale, hands down, midline in prayer position. So let's equal it up now. For me, definitely, I'm feeling a lot going on in that right leg. So let's bring it over to the left leg now and equal ourselves up. Inhale, reach the arms up high, coming up onto the balls of the feet now. Exhale, hands down, midline in prayer position. Coming into our chair pose here. Inhale, lift the right heel, and exhale, place it down again. Inhale, lift the left heel, and exhale, place it down again. So we're coming into our leg lifts now. So inhale, lift that right leg up this time, and exhale, either bending that left knee and tapping behind you, or reaching that right leg behind you. That knee can be bent or straight, depending really on your hamstrings, whether it's bent or straight. So inhale, bending that right knee up, and exhale, reaching that leg behind you. Nice and slowly now. Inhale, lifting, and exhale, reaching. One more time. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, reaching it back. This time we're going to step that right leg back now. Bring the arms back and find yourself in arrowhead. Make sure that your feet are hip distance apart here now, lengthen through the spine. And we're going to come into our flow here, our first standing flow of the second side. So we're going to inhale, reach the arms up high, straighten that front leg there. And exhale, bending the front leg. Inhale, straightening. And exhale, bending. Inhale to straighten. And exhale, bending. Now we'll do our counts of 6 on this side. Inhale to reach. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale to reach. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then we are going to ground that right foot, or the right foot down now, and come into our warrior. Okay, so from warrior, we're going to do the same flow again. We're going to straighten that front leg as we reach the arms up, and then exhale, bending. So really pressing strongly into your feet now. Really find your connection with the ground here now. The legs are beginning to fatigue, hopefully. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, bending into that front knee. Moving really slowly here. Inhale, reaching. Exhale, bending. And as you bend, draw everything in towards midline. So as you're bending, draw your hips in towards midline. Squeeze the back of the hips there. Squeeze your glutes. See, can you squeeze the tops of the legs there even by pressing your feet into the ground. One more time. Inhale, reaching. And then exhale, bending. So shorten your stance a little bit, remembering that you're not going to come as far forward into your warrior here because we're coming into our Trikonasana version. So exhale into our warrior. Inhale, straighten that front leg, coming into Trikonasana, and exhaling into our warrior. Inhale to straighten that front leg into Trikonasana. Exhale, bending. Don't bend that front knee too much now. Inhale, Trikonasana. Exhale, bend into warrior. Last time, we're going to pause in it now. Inhale, Trikonasana. Okay, so pausing here for a bit. See, can you really open those hips out to the side of your room? Press into your back foot now. See, by pressing into that back foot, can you really engage the top of that leg there, particularly this area here, the back of that top leg. If you want to, you can reach the left arm or the right arm this time up and over. Draw the navel in towards your spine here, lift the pelvic floor. So use your whole core here to contain the spine as we add a little bit more weight with this arm overhead. And then inhale to come back up again. And you're just going to step forward to the front of your mat. I'm at the back. Let's take a breath here now in Tadasana. We're going to come down to the ground and do a little bit of work on our thighs before we come to our second flow. So breathing here, pressing into your feet. See, can you grow that strength up through your legs again, like we did at the start of class? Press into those 3 points in your feet. Feel the legs firing up. Add your core to it and let the arms be soft. Okay, great. So we're just going to come down to the ground. So inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, folding down and just stepping back to plank position. From plank here, you're going to roll over to the outside edge of your right foot and step your left foot behind it and flatten that foot down. And you're going to step that right foot over to the other side of your mat here. So what we're doing is we're not quite coming into wild king. Actually, you can bring the hips down there for a second, just to make sure that you've got the legs in the right position before we start doing any activity. I want to just explain it properly here. So I'm sitting on the outer edge of my mat here. So it's the kind of right side of my mat if I'm looking down at it. My right leg is reaching out kind of diagonally across my mat, and I'm on the outer edge of that right foot. My left leg, which is the important one, I don't want this too close to my hips there. I want it kind of almost in line with the calf there, and the whole foot planted down into the ground. My right hand, I don't want it in under the shoulder. I want it a little bit further out because we're going to do some hip lifts here, which is going to work on the quads there, the left top of the thigh there. Okay, so when we're ready, press into that left foot, the outer edge of the right foot there, just to lift the hips up. This right arm or the left arm can just be on your hip or reaching up high. So make sure that that knee is shooting out towards the back of the mat there. You don't want it dropping in towards the midline. We're simply just going to drop down the hips here on our exhale. So exhale the hips down. Inhale to lift them up. So starting to feel that in that left leg there. Exhale to lift it or to drop down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to drop it down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to bring it down. Inhale to lift. So hopefully you can start to feel where I'm trying to target here. Exhale to drop down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to drop. So if you're feeling that too strongly, we're finished with that now, but we will go on to the other side now. If you're feeling that too strongly on the shoulder, it might mean that you have that arm a little bit too close in towards your hip. So make sure it's far out enough there. We'll do the other side now, seeing as we're down on the mat, rather than doing it between the other sides. So this time you want that right leg bent here, the foot flat on the ground. And I want the left leg, is that the way it is? Yeah. Yes, it is, yeah. The left leg is diagonal across the mat. I'm sitting on you're going to be on the left side of your mat. I've flipped to the back of the mat. So you're going to be sitting your left hip on the left side of your mat. The left leg is diagonal across the mat and your right foot is planted. Make sure that that left hand now is kind of down at the back of your mat, a good bit of space between your hip and your arm. Use your fingertips there just to lift that hip up. Make sure that that feels okay on your shoulder there. Reach the right arm up or bring it onto your hip. And let's do our dips. So exhaling to dip. Inhale to lift. Press into that right foot now. Exhale to dip it down. Inhale to lift. Exhale to drop. Inhale, press, 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 and exhale down. Inhale to lift. Exhale down. So even at the top of your inhale, squeeze into the back of that hip there. Feel the top of that thigh, top of the thigh working. One more time, inhale, lift, and exhale to come back down again. And just bring yourself up to the top of your mat in all fours. And let's start into our second standing flow now. How are we doing for time? Oh, it's flying. Okay, so we definitely have time for our second flow. Step the right leg or the left leg forward, step the right leg forward, fold down. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Okay, let's start into our second flow here now, which we're going to be going through some nice goddess poses, very strengthening for the legs. Starting off the same as our last flow, inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position. Let's come into our chair. Let those hips drop down towards the back of your heels there. Inhale, lift the left heel. Exhale, bringing it down. Inhale, lift the right heel. So when we're lifting that heel, it's the other leg we're working on, really. So we're pressing into the left heel now, and exhale to bring it down. We're going to lift that left leg now. Inhale, lift the left leg up, and bring the hands to the hips if you want to. And then exhale, reach that left leg back. Inhale to lift. And exhale, stepping that left leg back. We're going to go through our high lunges with the front leg straight. So inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, circle the arms around, looking for the alignment of that knee with the ankle now. Inhale, reach, building stability for your everyday life now. And exhale, bending. We'll do one more round. Inhale to reach. And exhale, bending. Okay, we're going to inhale up and exhale, circle the feet around to the side of your mat. So have a look down just to make sure that the feet are aligned with each other. They're at a 45-degree angle. So we're coming down into our goddess pose. Little bit of alignment cues for our goddess pose. We're looking for those two pointy hip bones to reach up and back. Now they might not be perfectly stacked. It just depends on your inner groin there, but that's the direction where we want things to be going. Okay, so from this position, we're going to do our heel lifts again. So we're going to press all our weight into our left foot and just lift that right heel off the ground here. Squeeze into the back of that right hip there. Bring that right heel down, lift the left heel up. So there's two things going on there. This side is working hard to lift. This side is working hard to ground down. We'll do one more round. Inhale, lift the left heel up, or right heel up. Exhale, bringing it down. Inhale, left heel up. Exhale, bringing it down. Okay, so ground down into both feet now. We're going to do a little bit of a flow where we straighten the legs. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Circle the arms around each other and exhale, bringing them down. Inhale, straighten the arms up, circle. Make your fingertips nice and wide here and exhale, bring it down. Inhale, reach the arms up, circling. And exhale, bring it down. We do one more then. Inhale, reach the arms up. And exhale, coming down. Okay, one more little flow here in Goddess. We're going to exhale to come down. We're going to inhale, pivot onto the back of that left foot there. Actually, no, we'll keep it grounded. I think that's too much of a leap of faith. So just keep that left foot grounded. And we're coming into kind of like a warrior 1.5, so that the hips are kind of face to the left corner of your mat there. We're going to reach the arms up. And we're going to exhale back into Goddess, pivot on that right foot and coming to the kind of back left or back right side of your mat to a kind of warrior 1.5. And exhale. So hopefully you've got that flow. You exhale into Goddess. Inhale, pivot the feet and reach. Keep that knee bent. And then exhale. One more time to the back. Now let's do one or two more rounds just to make sure you've got the fluidity of it. So I keep forgetting to bend that front knee. It's better if the knee is bent. Okay, and down, and pivot, and down, and pivot, and Goddess, and pivot, and Goddess. One more time. Pivot, front of mat, Goddess, pivot, back of mat, and Goddess. Okay, let's just step forward to the front of our mat, hands on hips, and we'll bring that flow over to the second side. Inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline in prayer position, coming into chair pose now. Inhale, lift that right heel up, press strongly into the left heel. Bring right heel down. Inhale, bring left heel up, press into the right heel. Exhale, bring left heel down. Okay, inhale, lift the right leg up. And exhale, remembering your options, you either tap that leg or you reach that leg back. Inhale to lift. And exhale to reach or tap. Inhale to lift. And exhale, reaching or tapping. Inhale to lift. And exhale, reach it back, this time planting that foot down, making sure they're wide as your hips left to right in your mat, arms reaching back. Inhale, reach the arms up high. And exhale, reach the arms back. Inhale, reaching. second round, and exhale, reaching back. Inhale to reach, exhale, reaching back. Last time to come up, inhale to reach, and exhale, you stay where you are. I'm just making sure that I'm not going to have my back to you. Exhale, pivot around into our goddess again. So hands on the thighs now, and we're just going to do our heel lifts again. So lifting the right heel, pressing strongly into that left foot there, bringing the right heel down, lifting the left heel. So stay up nice and tall through the spine here, and exhale, core in, pelvic floor engaged. Inhale, right heel. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, left heel. And exhale, bring it down. Now ground through both feet now. We're going to bring our arms up as we come through our straight leg inversion. So inhale, reach the arms up high, circling the arms. If you can remember which one was in front, do the opposite, but it's not a big issue. Inhale, reach, and exhale. So if you come up to your standing position, inhale, reach, press into the feet, squeeze those hips, and exhale. Do one more time. Inhale, reaching, and exhaling back into our goddess pose. We're going to do our little flips to the front and the back of your mat. So see, can you get this into a flow with your breath? So I'll guide, but you move with your breath if it's not the same as mine. So the exhale is goddess. The inhale is you're just literally internally and externally rotating that leg, really. So the back leg rotates in and you reach the arms up for an inhale. Exhale into goddess. So see, can you keep the hips nice and low for this one? Then you're going to just literally flip that right heel down towards the ground. That right leg flips in, reach the arms up. Keep the hips low for this one. Goddess, exhale. Inhale, flip that left leg, front of the mat. Goddess for your exhale, flip that right leg, back of the mat. One more round. Goddess for your exhale, flip that back leg, front of the mat. Goddess, hips low. Flip that right leg, back of the mat. And then last exhaling, goddess. Hands to the knees. Lengthen the legs now. Hands to the thighs. And just stepping up to the top of your mat there now. We're just going to do 1 or 2 more rounds of those leg lifts or the hip lifts. And then we'll come into the restorative part of our practice. So inhale, reach the arms up high. Exhale, hands down the midline. And just stepping all the way back to plank. Let's see, can we keep going, get into position as nice and fast as possible. So step that right hand forward, a little bit more forward than you usually would. Coming into your side plank now. Step that right leg behind, or that left leg behind the right leg. Step the right leg forward a little bit. So here we are in our arrangement for our hip dips. And then exhale to drop that hip down. Inhale, lifts. Exhale to drop. Inhale, lift. So concentrate on that left leg here. Don't worry too much about what the rest of the body is doing. Really feel that strength of that left leg that's lifting your hips up, your heavy hips up. Inhale to lift and exhale to drop down. One more time. Inhale to lift, squeeze at the top, and exhale to come back down again. Okay, so I'm just going to go over to the other side of you, come back to plank there, roll over to the left side of your mat now, it's on the outer edge of your left foot, step the right foot behind your left calf there, step your left foot to the outer edge of your mat there, the right side of your mat, left or right arm reaching or on the hips, wherever it feels good for you, and then inhaling here, exhale to drop that hips down. Make sure that that right foot is really planted down into the mat. That's the thing that's going to help lift you. Inhale to lift. Exhale to come down. Inhale, press, squeeze, and exhale to come back down again. Inhale to lift. Exhale, we'll do 2 more. Inhale, lifting. Exhale, last one. Inhale, lifting. And exhale, coming all the way down. Let's come straight into constructive rest. So we're coming now into the restorative part of our practice. So palms facing up towards the ceiling, feet mat distance apart, knees tucking or knees knocking in together. And just really let those legs just really relax. Let them switch off. Give them a little bit of a congratulations there for bringing you through your practice. And it might take a few poses because the mine are still definitely buzzing and working away there. So we're going to do our best through our restorative to counter pose and to give them a bit of attention. So often in our restorative pose, there's a lot of stuff going on with the spine. For this practice, it's going to be all about the legs. Now, starting to tap into your restorative breath that you're beginning to know so well now. So you can use slow your breath down. Tap into your heartbeat there. And we're coming over to our right side and lift you up. I'm going to bring you into your first restorative pose here now. So grab your brick and pop it in the center of your mat there. Grab your bolster and have it at the end of your mat there. So what we're going to do is start to bring a little bit of a restorative, reversive blood flow into the legs. So bring your hips up onto the bolster or onto the brick there now. And we're going to lengthen our legs out over the bolster. So use your arms to gently bring you down onto your back. So just reposition that the brick underneath your hip there. We don't want this to be a strong lower back bend there. Make sure that your hips are kind of lengthening over that brick there, so that we can find a little bit of comfort in the back. We're not looking for a back bend here. Just starting to really let the blood flow up and back out of our legs now, give them a little bit of a restore. So the bolster is just sitting wherever feels comfortable for you. Mine is just at the lower part of our calves or my calves, or it could be just on the curve of your ankles there. I feel more secure with it a little bit further up than my ankle, just the curve of my ankles there. So gentle inversion, again, we're also getting all the benefits of this being an inversion, because as subtle as it is, the heart is ever so slightly above the head here because we have the hips on the brick there. So we're just playing around with the blood flow, and what we're doing when we go into our inversions is the heart pumps really hard, or it works very efficiently, but it works hard to get the blood flow around the whole body. And when we come into little inversions or even big inversions, what we're doing is we're kind of giving those muscles that pump so hard a little bit of a break, and we're bringing more blood flow to the areas like the brain that will benefit from blood flow. And equally at the same time is with something like with our legs, where we were working them really hard, we had a good bit of blood flow going on there. So we're trying to relieve those veins of possibly the pressure of the blood flow by reversing the blood flow out. So coming back to your breath again now. Can you notice here, is the breath beginning to soften just by itself? And like the magic of the body, the way it knows how to find balance, homeostasis. Now, if you're finding the brick is a little bit too hard on your hip there, I certainly am all right. Obviously, have enough padding underneath there. You can pop a blanket just on top of that brick. But if you're tolerating it, we won't be in this pose for much longer, so we'll be okay. can you feel the subtle little stretch of the skin across those hip bones there? So can you trace through your body for sensations that are not your everyday sensations? So traveling through the body. Okay, so getting ready to move now. I'm just bending the knees up, placing the feet on the ground, lifting the hips up just enough to lift that brick out of the way, bringing your hips down. So it's nice to pause here, just with the knees in line with the hips there. I always feel it kind of just when your body gets used to the hips being raised or coming into an inversion, it can feel really lovely then to come back down to the ground and just let the spine sit for a few seconds in its natural position. It almost feels like you've actually kind of sunken down below ground level because the body has gotten used to being lifted. So let's just take a few breaths here, find neutral again. And then just rolling over to your right side. Use the left arm to help lift you up. And coming up to a seated position. So for our next one, we're going to build a little structure here. So we're elevating the legs and we're going to use the props to elevate them. This one is often, I've heard it being called Stonehenge because of the arrangement we're making with the bricks. So we're going to have your big bricks on their highest height here. If you feel that's too unsteady, but try it on the highest height first, because you'll get a good inversion and reversal of blood flow in the legs. But if you feel at any stage during this that you just don't feel, you feel like the legs are about to fall, then bring your bricks down to their medium height by all means. But I'm going to build you on your highest height and see how you get on. So bricks at the highest height, make sure they're not too close together. Have them kind of, say there's your bolster, have them kind of about this far apart, just so that there's a good bit of structure to your bolster, and hopefully your bolster has a bit of form so it won't sag down the middle. And maybe we'll aim for our legs being exactly where those two bricks are. Well, you're going to be lying down, so it might be a little bit hard to find that. So there is your bolster on top of its support. So if you have a strap or a yoga belt, it can be very handy to pop that around your thighs now. It just gives, what this does, it just gives a little bit more of release for the muscles, because when your legs, your calves are going to be up here, and with this strap around your thighs, the legs are kind of held. They can just fall against the support of the straps rather than using those muscles to keep your legs in line with their hips there. Anything will work. So yeah, you can use an elastic band, you can use a scarf, you can just anything that you can just tie. Now if you can see there, I don't have my legs completely together. They're kind of still coming from the hip joint there. I'm not going to do it any tighter. If you're using the yoga belt, make sure that the buckle is not sitting on the outside of your calf or your thigh there. It can get a bit uncomfortable. So where you want your hips for this one is maybe you can just bring one leg up to check where you feel your hips need to be. I want the hips to be at kind of like a 45-degree angle. So I don't really want my hips in too close. And we're just going to gently place the calves. I need to come in a little bit closer there. The calves onto our little Stonehenge arrangement there. And just get yourself nice and equal there. I need to adjust my strap. Okay, make sure that you're on a position. There can be tender points to the calves as well. So make sure you're on a position that feels comfortable for you. And then just gently coming down onto your forearms and coming down all the way onto your back. Any little bit of movements with the hips there, maybe just tilt your pelvis forward and back a little bit. Make sure that you're on a nice position for your hips, palms facing up towards the ceiling. So feeling this lovely inversion for the legs after all the work they did for you. So yeah, definitely if you feel that you're just feel like you're going to push the brick and the bolster forward, it might be that your hips are a little bit too close to your bolster. So just do play around with the position of your hips here until you find a position where you feel pretty secure, and it won't be disastrous if your structure falls, but you also want to make sure that you're not, while you're trying to relax, that you're not constantly going, oh, this doesn't feel very safe, or it's very stable, this is going to fall at any moment. So remembering again, if you just feel those bricks just aren't holding you securely, bring them onto their lower height, the mid height. You won't get quite as much of a reversal, but you certainly will get an inversion in the legs. So see, can you really let those legs relax there? Can you soften those muscles? And the more you soften the muscles, it will release the blood flow of the legs and let the circulation work beautifully through the legs. Trace down from the big toe mound all the way to your hips, plural. And see, can you find any little bit of area that you're still might be gripping? I can certainly feel there's still a little bit of gripping in my calves actually there. So I'm just going to send signals to the calves and just see, can I gently encourage them or just let them know that it's okay to relax? Front of the knees, is there any gripping there? Can they relax? Front of the thighs relaxing, back of the thighs relaxing. The whole leg relaxing. Come back to your breath now again. Notice what your breath is doing. Has it followed the guide of your body, which is relaxing? Has it softened? Does it need a little bit of encouragement to soften more? Can your breath communicate with your legs and help them to soften? So using your 4 in, 4 out breath and almost bringing the breath all the way down your legs to that big toe mound. Sounds like a leap of faith, but that is where your breath is going, in the form of oxygenation of the blood. Now listen carefully. I'm going to guide you out of this pose and bring you into a gentle leg raised inversion version of Savasana. If you're really enjoying this one, stay here for a few minutes longer, and then you can just have a look up towards me. It'll be a very simple pose. It'll just be a stacked blankets, and my legs and my calves on the stacked blankets, and the rest of the body in Shavasana. So stay here for a little bit longer if it's really feeling nice and you're really enjoying the inversion in the legs, or come along with me. So just gently lift yourself up using your forearms, pressing into the ground, coming up to seated, and just taking one leg off at a time from your structure there. unwrapping your legs and popping that out to the side, taking your bolster down, popping that out to the side, and taking your 2 bricks and popping them out to the side. So for Savasana, we're going to get our blankets. I have 4 here, so 3 or 4 blankets, whatever you have, and we're literally just going to make a kind of smaller, more comfortable version of our Stonehenge prop and come into Shavasana with the legs lifted. You're very welcome to come into just a very restorative version of Shavasana, which everything is on the ground. We might at the very end of this take 1 or 2 breaths with the blankets popped out to the side to make sure that we just are coming all the way down. But for the majority of your Shavasana, you're going to have those legs lifted up just on a stack of blankets there. No need for the belt wrap, just let the legs drop out to the side. Let the legs be heavier than they have felt for the whole of our restorative here. Let gravity really press them into the support of those blankets there. And at the same time, a little bit of, play with the circulation in the legs being raised. So just the lower body in inversion now, the upper body is nicely planted on the ground. Coming back to your breath again, anytime you feel you're starting to get fidgety, really finding the breath and remembering, like we did before, scanning through the muscles of the face, again, as a way to just using the breath, using the body to quieten the mind. And maybe just now you can keep the legs exactly where they are if you're really enjoying this, or maybe just for the last few breaths, a few minutes of our Shavasana, just kick those blankets off to the side of your mat there and come all the way down to the ground and see how that feels. Let the back of the heels plant and take the support of the ground. Feel the lack of support or the kind of air between the back of the knees and your mat. And then coming back down to the mat with the back of the hips. Maybe your calves are on the mat. Lower back lifting, upper back pressing into the mat. Shoulder blades supported by the mat. Upper arms. Lower arms. A little curve of the wrists lifted off the mat maybe. Back of the palms on the mat. Back of the head on the mat. Really feeling those little sensors at the back of the skull there. Little pressure points. And can you soften the skin across your forehead here? Space between the temples, broad, wide, and open. Feel the breath in all the little creases of your brain. Take 1 or 2 restorative deep breaths of your preferred breath. So it can be equal in, equal out. You can pause at the top. You can take a deep in and an even deeper out, or a deep out and an even deeper in. Whichever one you choose, feel the buoyancy of your inhale as you almost lift a little bit off the mat, and the grounding, sturdy stability of your exhale as you soften down into the earth beneath you. When you're ready, bending your knees up, rolling over to your right hand side. Press the left palm into the ground to lift yourself up to a seated position. Your preferred seated position, hands in prayer position at your heart. Thumbs to your third eye, to your lips, to your heart center. Namaste. So hopefully now the legs are feeling nice and invigorated. So next week, I'm thinking we might play or build on that a little bit and work towards transitions. So balance, stability within the transitions of our practice. And thank you for practicing, and see you again next week.